YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back with another 7-round NFL mock draft. This one is for the LA Rams, and today's the last day for the 7-round mocks. Got the Rams right here, and then later today, the Patriots. Finally get through all these, and then we got our final mock drafts to get to, a couple live streams we want to do, position rankings, trade scenario videos, all that before the draft, and then during the draft, we'll be live. April 25th, the actual draft starts at 7. We'll be live just a little bit before, and then during the draft here on YouTube. So hopefully you can join us. We're talking predictions when each team's on the clock and reactions. Can't wait for that. Subscriber goals at 20K. Please help us out if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. Click that like button, notification button. That would help us a lot as well. On to the Rams. I have them going O-line in the first round. They've opened up pretty much a hole at O-line. They drafted pretty well last year. They got a couple guys I like, but nothing guaranteed there. Getting rid of Sullivan, I think they're confident with Allen at center, so they could go center early, but, I think they're confident what they got there. But they definitely need guard, maybe multiple guards, but really a guard right now, and then possibly a tackle for the future with Whitworth. His career's got to be coming to an end soon. He's still playing at a very high level, but, he can't have too much longer left. So Dalton Risner, a guy that has experience at tackle, but teams see him moving in at guard and playing at a high level. So I think that's a win-win there because you get a 2-for-1. He can play guard right now. If you need him to slide out to tackle in the future and get another guard, whatever comes to you, make it work that way. So Dalton Risner, nasty blocker, mean blocker type of guy you like. I think could be the Quentin Nelson type. Nowhere near Quentin Nelson, but still a first-round talent and just that type of blocker if they slide him in the guard. So we'll see. Again, I think he could be a guard right away. If they need him to ever step out of tackle, he can do that. That's the good thing there. And they don't have a second-round pick, so they can't really afford to wait on a lineman, in my opinion. You got to keep Goff protected because we saw what happened when he got under quite a bit of pressure there in the playoffs towards the end of the season. When they played the Patriots in the Super Bowl, when they played the Bears towards the end of the regular season, it wasn't too good. So you got to keep him protected. He's still young. You can't, he can't have any type of injury or anything this early in his career to affect his future. So they know that too. They're gonna keep him protected here. So get a guy like Risner from Kansas State. Third round, I got him going Tavon Coney, Notre Dame linebacker. He's very underrated. I think he should be a second-round guy. He probably goes third round. A high motor guy, doesn't miss tackles, and can cover the running back at a pretty high level when downfield even. So I think there's enough there for the Rams to like him. They don't have Barron anymore. I think Coney would be a great pair with Littleton. They don't really value the linebacker position all that much, but I think when they see a guy they like, a guy that can do certain things, they'll jump on him. They'll jump for him. So Coney's that guy. I think that really fits their defense. He can play the inside linebacker for them. With Littleton, like I said. So I think it's a fit, and in my opinion, too good to pass if he's at their pick in the third round, which is realistic, which I honestly don't think it should be, but it is. On to their next pick, 2 third-rounders. Renner, to me, is another fit. Maybe D-line, maybe there's a little bit more bigger needs than D-line at this point. It is a need, though, but, the Rams know you can't really go strictly off need, maybe a little bit teams do, but Renner's a fit. It's a guy that has experience all over the D-line. You're missing the Dominican Sue, maybe you can get him back, but obviously Ren's a cheaper option, and it's a guy with similar flexibility, I guess. You can move him around different spots, kind of what they need. They have a few guys that, other than Donald, they have a few guys that are capable of being on the field. Is Brockers the same as a couple years ago? So they definitely can use another guy in there that has some flexibility to move around. So I really like Ren for their defense. I like him in round 3 for a lot of teams, but the Rams grab him here. Round 4, Devin Singletary. I think this is a guy they'll like. They definitely met with them too. They're definitely interested, and they lost C.J. Anderson. I know they like the guys they got. I like John Kelly a lot. I love that draft pick last year, but they're not really confident in him at the moment. So maybe not quite yet. But Singletary is a guy that they definitely like I mentioned. They met with him, and it's just a weapon for McVay's offense. My problem with Singletary is, before the line of scrimmage. He kind of wants to bounce everything outside. He kind of bounces around instead of hitting the hole. So that's a scare for me. But once he's in the open field, he is dangerous. He's got that, man, he's got that extra gear. Even though his 40 wasn't where we liked it to be, where we want it to be at, I should say. But man, once he's got the ball in his hands in the open field, it's different. That 40 doesn't matter too much, but it's mainly the quickness. But I worry about before the line of scrimmage, like I said, but I think McVay, I think he'll work out good with McVay in this offense. You can line up him in the slot if you wanted him to, which they don't really need, but you can use him in multiple different ways. It just makes that offense, that much scarier. So I don't like him for a lot of teams, Singletary, but I do like him for the Rams. Next pick, Jamel Dean, actually, corner from Auburn, the corner that was, beat up during the year, and that's unfortunate because he's probably, I'd say, a round 2 talent if he wasn't hurt, but when he's on the field, he's very good. So it's a risk. It's a little bit of a risk, but if he's down here at round 5, the risk kind of fades a little bit because, he's, like I said, probably a round 2, maybe even late 1 if he's fully healthy. But because the past injury here, round 5 makes a little more sense. Possibly round 4, but grade A mock here. Physical and athletic. It's just a Ram-style corner. They don't have much depth. They got a very good starter at both corners and their nickel, and you need another guy and a guy for the future because Talib, he's got some years left, but how many? Marcus Peters, I think they'll be good to go with him for the future. They'll have to extend him at some point, but you definitely need another one. Can never have enough corners here. Next pick, 6th round, Jalen Jelks is a guy I think that fits their defense at the outside linebacker spot. They don't really value that spot that much either, and they have 2 starters, so I think they can wait here a little bit. Matthews, how long is he going to last? And then Fowler's only got 1 year, but I think the Rams will play this position year by year. It seems like that's what they do. I know they like Ja'Kai Polite, so possibly that could be their 1st round pick, but like I mentioned, you pretty much have to go O-line at that pick, in my opinion, because you can't wait to the 3rd round. You can get some starters possibly there, but very risky. So I think if there's a guy that's too good to pass on, maybe, but more likely they're waiting until around here to grab a guy like Jalen Jelks, who has a lot of upside. These Oregon guys seem, they seem pretty good. Jelks and Justin Hollins, and there's a couple of Oregon defensive players, but on tape they really weren't that good. But you see they have a bunch of potential, and they tested very well. So maybe they just need an NFL system, and then they have a ton of upside is what I'm really getting at here. And then the last pick, I have them going with Deion Calhoun, Mississippi State guard. Like I said, Reisner could be the guard right away, could possibly play tackle. He's more familiar with tackle. And Calhoun could be a depth guard, maybe a future starter here. So they definitely could use a couple O-linemen here. But yeah, that's what I got from them. They could go tight end. I think it's go big or go home with tight end. I think that applies for a lot of teams with different positions, but they have a few guys that can play. It's like if you don't get a top-tier guy that 100% makes you better, then there's no point, because I do like the guys they got. They got Everett and Higbee, but you could get better. You can't be afraid to get better, especially when you're trying to win a Super Bowl. You were just in the Super Bowl, so and it's tough. Rams are a tough one because all year their offense got them to where they were. Really, their offense got them there, but then. So it looks like they need help on the defensive side, but then in the Super Bowl, the offense couldn't do anything. So they're an offense away from winning the Super Bowl. So that's why it's tough. What do they need here? And it's pretty obvious they got to revamp that O-line or keep it. Losing Saffold was big. They got to keep it going, keep it fresh for Jared Goff. So that's number 1 to me. And there's some spots on defense they could use, which they needed it last year too, and they got away with. Not having the linebacker spots, but they did lose Sue on the D-line, so that's going to, different position, but, they could take a hit unless they can get them back or somebody at the same caliber here, so we'll see. They have a chance to move up possibly with the 2 third-round picks, so I like that. They can get back in the 2nd round, so maybe they move back from that first pick, and then they move up in the 2nd round with those 3rd-round picks, and they grab a couple linemen there. Possibility. Again, we'll have final mocks, one with trades, one with what I would do, final predictions, trade scenarios, position rankings, a lot to get to, a couple live streams before the live stream during the draft, so hopefully you can join us for all that. But that's going to do it for this one. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Goodbye.